So how much danger is Hibana in at the moment? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Fire Force Season 3, Episode 8. And last we left off, Hibana was trying to get to the root of all things going on, checking out the old convent and everything. And that's when it starts to come to light that, yeah, the nuns there were kind of in on it and weren't great people either. It's just, it was all a ruse. It was all fake. Nothing was real about this entire situation. So that's probably fun to hear, considering all of Hibana's misgivings about this situation as it was. But I'm just very interested to see where this goes. I'm very interested to see like what happens now if the nun is going to be like attacking them. I don't know, but I'm very curious, and I just don't want to wait anymore. I don't want to like. There's not even a lot for me to say at the moment, so let's just get into this episode and see what happens. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we're back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. You know, sometimes I really like what this show does, and then sometimes I really hate it. And don't get me wrong, this isn't as bad as, like, the worst this show has become. It's not like, you know, getting too terrible with the fan service and shit and just ruining characters and all of that. But it's like, when you go from the first half of this episode to the second half, the tonal shift is so aggressively bad. It actually, like, really hurt my enjoyment of this, like, strongly. If you had started this entire quest thing with Arthur next episode, okay, fine, whatever. I could have dealt with that. I could have lived with it. I mean, I see the point in it because they spelled it out for us. But if this was, like, started next episode, okay, whatever, fine. But having us go from what the first half of this was with Hibana and Sister Sumire, however you say it, and the big revelations to going to this, like, goofy-ass bullshit is such a drastic tone shift. Not just visually, with obviously some of the goofy, like, cartoony, video gamey visuals with this, but also, like, just in terms of the general tone of the scenes and of the content within them. It's like, it's so jarring that it entirely destroys immersion. I almost said emotion. Immersion. It's like the scene with Joker and Benny is like, okay, that's fine. That's cool. Whatever. But the stuff happening here with Arthur and Vulcan and them and this entire, like, the video game imagery and shit is like, it completely took me out of the moment and made me, like, kind of instantly hate whatever this is going on. And don't get me wrong, I've never been the biggest fan of Arthur's in terms of, like, not only just his character, but this entire fantasy thing he's living. I understand why he's living through it. I get the, like, kind of gist of it's basically a trauma response. But it's also very annoying. And it just, it just breaks my immersion from the best parts of this series. And going in the same episode from one of these to the other is, it entirely destroys my immersion into what I'm watching. It'd be like flipping from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood to Nietzsche Joe. That's the kind of tone shift this is. It's like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood can have some comedic stuff to it, just like the more serious aspects of Fire Force can have some comedic aspects to it. But it's more serious for a reason, and it gets into some really intense, heavy shit. But then you go into a part that, like, yeah, again, it's throwing it in our faces that this is to make Arthur stronger and give him, like, a better weapon. But in the end, it's just undeniable that it's ridiculous, goofy-ass shit that doesn't really amount to much. It's like, like they literally said this is purely to make him feel better. Because his power lies pretty much entirely with his imagination and everything. It's like there are other ways you could have done this without turning this into like some goofy ass children's anime. And again, if you did this just in its own episode or two, without having like that massive tone shift, it would have worked better. Have this start at the next episode. I understand it's like, okay, maybe there's not enough content within the manga. Make something up. There's a lot of people out there who are so, like, obsessed with the idea of manga accuracy and manga, like, following the manga to a T, that it can sometimes, like, they don't see how it sometimes hurts the anime. Because the problem is, when you are adapting a manga to an anime, it can't be one for one. If it's one for one, it causes problems because they're two entirely different mediums that require different things. As accurate to the manga as Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is in terms of the story and stuff, there's still differences in visual presentation and certain aspects of it. It's not exactly the same. Same with a lot of other anime that have been, like, you know, remade to be more accurate to the manga and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with keeping the story the same and everything, but you can extend things and add things in. And this is big evidence right here that following the manga too closely is a mistake. Because it certainly clearly requires them to switch from one arc to another in the middle of an episode. But you're switching from an arc that is so exceptionally serious and plot relevant to one that is so ridiculously goofy. It is, again, it's such a massive tone shift that it actively hurts the enjoyment. At least for me. I will acknowledge that this is my opinion. Everything I say pretty much is my opinion, my view on the show, my view on how it's, you know, handled, etc., etc. That should go without saying, but I feel like I do have to say it because some people don't just understand that. To me, this actively hurts the series when you do shit like this. And it undermines the seriousness of the scenes that came before. The seriousness, the intensity, the lore of everything that we got in the first half of this episode was so dark, so aggressively uncomfortable and intense. And you could say, oh, but this goofiness then gives you a little levity. Levity's fine. This is not just levity. This is a tone shift so drastic that it changes like the entire like experience of watching this episode. That's not levity. That's just ridiculous. I feel, though, to be fair, that a lot of the comedy aspects of this series are its weakest points. A lot of times when this show tries to do too much comedic shit, it ends up hurting it overall. This series is at its absolute best when it is darker and more serious. The first half of this episode is peak Fire Force. The second half is like some of its worst content. Again, it's not on the level of like the horrifically bad fan servicey bullshit they pull, but it's still like comparatively some of its worst. And it's just, again, it would work better if it weren't like coming straight off of what we had before. It would work better if we had some time to like breathe before going into that goofy ass shit. And I know my response here seems, I'm sure, pretty extreme. Like I might be over exaggerating and all, but this is genuinely how I feel about it. Like I said, it's my opinion, my viewpoint on this. I genuinely hated that shift that bad. Like if I wasn't invested in the rest of this series as it was, that would be like the level of shift that would completely turn me away from a show. If you had like the first episode of a series do something like that, I would probably drop the series instantly. Like the closest I can think of like a first episode doing something similar to that is oh god, what's it called? High School of the Dead, I think is what the English title is called. Um it's a series basically where it starts off seeming like it's going to be a happy high school series, but then the big twist at the end of the first episode is nope, it's a really fucked up zombie series. And the high school bit is literally a girl coping with trauma. And it's like, that is done intentionally as this big twist. It's not a shifting of tone based on like different arcs. It's literally the point of the series, with the rest of the series following in that. It's a different experience, and instead of taking you out of it, it explains so much that came before. It actually recontextualizes things. That's not what we're doing here. With this, we're just having such a drastic tone shift because it's a completely different arc that we're going into. And this is like genuinely upsetting to me when it does shit like this. When this series does shit like this. So I apologize if my response to this seems like over the top and just ridiculous for what we're being given. But it's like this kind of shit genuinely bothers me in terms of enjoyment, in terms of investment and immersion in a series. It's not really something I can help. It's just a natural feeling that comes over me when I see something like this. And so I just want to say, like, I don't know how many episodes this arc is going to be, but I can say that that once it's, I think once it's done, I might take a break from Fire Force season 3 for now. Unless it's just the rest of the... No, but it definitely wouldn't be the rest of the season. Let me see if I can find out. I'm not going to look up spoilers or anything. I'm just going to try to see if I can find, like, oh, how many episodes is this arc, like, taking place between. Okay, so there's 12 episodes in this core of the season total. And it seems like episode 9 is going to be the last one of this arc. I know there's only 3 episodes after that. And you might be like thinking, it's like, oh, you're going to like take a break and not get to those, just get to those 3 episodes. And the answer is like, yes, because like I said, this has like broken my immersion and interest so drastically. If I don't take a break and I just push my way through the rest of this, I will not react to any more. I'm telling you that right now. I'm being completely 100% serious. If I force myself to get through the rest of the season, as normal and just push past it, despite how I'm feeling currently, it will completely destroy my interest in continuing to react to this series. Potentially hurting my interest in just continuing the series altogether. That is how drastic of an immersion break I had with this second half of the episode. Like, I think I might consider this to be the worst episode in the series because of this. And again, I want to make very clear, the first half of this, the revelations we found out exactly, like, to every degree what human combustion is and what causes it. All the revelations about St. Raffles, phenomenal. Fire Force at its peak. But that shift is that drastically bad to me. And it's not something I can get over right now. So again, we're going to watch episode 9 next week. And then we're going to take a break. We will get to episodes 10 through 12 in the future. Maybe I'll even do them all in one video. But I cannot continue right now, or I will completely destroy my interest in this. The fact that I'm even like willing to let it go until the end of this arc until the like next episode is saying something. Like that's even a bit of a risk. But I think I can handle one more episode of this just to finish this bullshit off. Because I feel like the final 3 episodes will also, like, really be important and big. Because it's the end of the this part of the season, at least. They're going to end off on something big. But it's just like, yeah, I am genuinely upset by how that shifted. So I don't know at this moment, like, at all, what I would end up replacing this with for the time being. And once I do, I don't know when I'm going to come back and do the final 3 episodes. Whether all in one video or not. But, again, if I don't do this, I will not continue reacting to this series. And with there only being, like, one more core of the season left, because I think it's only 2 cores for season 3, and that's going to close it out, right? That's going to finish the series. With being that little bit left, it's like I don't want to leave this series off with such a little amount to get through. So I think it's just the right call at this moment. We'll see how it goes next week. And we'll take a break from there and come back to the final 3 episodes. Again, probably all in the same video at some point down the line. Whenever I'm feeling like I can handle getting into it again. I believe that the final core is coming in January. So we have some time. Of mind you, that's providing I get to the final core like right away too. Like I did pretty much with this. I'm sorry if this like reaction seems a bit much for people, but honestly I don't care. This is my genuine feelings at the at this switch up during this episode. It's not something I can help. It's how I naturally genuinely feel. And I need to just I like this series enough to where I need to just do the right thing, I feel is the best way to put it, and make sure I can continue reacting to it in the future. So yeah, we'll discuss that more next week. But for now, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Connie. I'm signing off. See y'all next time.